name and tell me who you're representing here today, whether you're a member of the applicant or owner team or someone else from the community. So I'll start with Tom Wilcox.
Tom Wilcox, I'm the architect representing Drew and Jennifer, the homeowners.
Okay, great. Welcome, Tom.
Thank you.
And looks like we have both Jennifer and Drew here. If you could just take yourselves off mute, confirm you are the owners.
Yep, Drew Susko, owner of 3280 Observatory Avenue.
Yep, same, Jennifer Dixon.
Okay, great. Welcome. Are we expect anyone else to join us on the applicant owner side?
No.
Okay, all right, great. We also have our zoning plans examiner, Wes Wenzel, with us today.
Morning.
Morning, Wes.
Morning.
Morning.
Okay, let's go ahead and get started. I need to read through our hearing script. This will basically just cover the procedure for the hearing, and then we'll jump into it. So this is the July 24th, 2024 session of the zoning hearing examiner docket. The case before us today is case number ZH20240088. That's 3280 Observatory Avenue. The purpose of this hearing is to allow applicants and any other parties to testify and to offer and refute evidence and testimony. This hearing will follow the rules found in the zoning code and the supplemental rules of the zoning hearing examiner. All testimony and evidence that an applicant or any other party wishes to offer must be presented at this hearing. The hearing will proceed as follows. The applicant, the applicant's attorney, or the applicant's agent will first present the applicant's case. For our purposes here today, either Mr. Wilcox, Mr. Susko, or Ms. Dixon can all participate at that time. Really, one of you can speak or all of you can speak. However you want to orient that presentation, it's up to you. If there were anyone here from the public, they'd have an opportunity to speak after you all had a chance to present your case. In the event that any, I'll also hear from Wes Wenzel and the zoning department. In the event that any party testifies or offers argument in opposition to this application, the applicant will have an opportunity to respond to that testimony provided in opposition. And then finally, the applicant will have an opportunity to make any closing statements. After all presentations have been made, I will close the hearing. Decisions may be expected within 2 weeks. I may limit or exclude any testimony that I deem irrelevant or outside the scope of the application being considered. I may interrupt any speaker to ask questions or to make any comments. In the event of any technical difficulties with the Zoom technology, I'll do my best to troubleshoot those issues on the fly, but to the extent there's some defect that prevents us from meaningfully going forward with this hearing, I may continue or postpone the hearing at my discretion. Last thing I need to do here is just swear in all of our witnesses. So if you intend on providing any testimony here today, making any comments, asking any questions, really doing anything other than just strictly observing, and the zoning code requires that I swear you in. So I'm going to do that now and collectively swear all those people in. So if that is you, if you could take yourself off from mute, raise your right hand. I'll need everyone to answer out loud. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you shall give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yes.
All right. Mr. Wilcox, will you be taking the lead on the presentation here today?
Sure.
Okay. It's again, it's up to you. But whoever is going to take the lead, the floor is
Very
yours.
qualified, but I'll start at least. So this is kind of a typical old Hyde Park home that's very nice, but it's 110 years old and it's kind of chopped up a little bit, and it's not really suited to modern living. So, rather than tear it down and build new, which is what too many people are doing, we want to add on the spaces that are needed and then renovate the inside of the existing house. So, the basic idea is to put in an adequate kitchen. Right now, it's a small compartmentalized kitchen. There's no real back entry. The drop-off area. There's not great access and views of the backyard right now, and there's no primary suite. So we're trying to, with this project, among other things, bring all those objects into the house. Trying to match existing conditions, materials, massing, all of that, so it's going to look appropriate. There is an addition that's existing on the east side of the house that's kind of falling off the house. It's in bad repair. It's leaking. It's sinking a little bit. So want to take that off and replace that with a slightly bigger addition. It doesn't go any closer to the property line, but it's 2 stories and a little bit deeper. And on the back, that's where the majority of the work will be. Because the house is sited, pretty much right on the rear and the side yard setback requirements, it's kind of impossible to do any of these additions without asking for zoning relief.
So in the rear of the property, are you proposing an addition and a new terrace?
Yes,
Or is-
yes. Terrace is
okay.
really at grade, but yes, patio, yep.
Okay, gotcha. And what's the proposed setback versus the required setback for the rear?
So the proposed setback, the required setback is 35 and the proposed setback is 21.2 feet.
Got it. And what why do you think that setback is appropriate, or do you think that there'll be any adverse impacts as a result of the addition? Can you talk more about why you think it fits here?
Well, I think it fits because it fits the massing of the house. You know, it's not too big. It's not overwhelming the house. We're trying to keep the house dominant and not take anything away from the existing house. You know, the additions are both flat roofed so that we're not getting into the existing gable form. Um, and it's, you know, compared to other houses in the area, it fits in, you know, even the size and the distance to property lines, you know, with this addition, it's not going to be anything odd.
Okay.
I know Drew and Jen, if you have anything else to add to that, that's fine.
The only other thing I would add is we're trying to maintain as much open area in the rear as possible, right? So just in terms of siting, we are siting the addition in an area where candidly it doesn't get much sunlight, et cetera. So we are trying to preserve as much outdoor space as possible.
Yep.
Okay. Then the side addition, you mentioned there's already a non-original addition on the side. Is that right?
Yes, it's old, but it wasn't original to the house.
Okay. And that's currently a 1-story, correct? And are you
Yeah.
proposing to convert that to a 2-story?
That'll be 2-story, exactly.
But otherwise the addition has the same setback as the existing
Exactly.
non-original addition.
Yep. Yep. It's also stepped back from the front facade like the existing addition is.
Got it. Okay. Anything else you'd like to tell me about the project right now?
I don't think so.
Okay. Okay, we'll turn it over to Wes. Wes, anything you want to add?
Good morning. I will just highlight a couple things, like for example, the lot depth is a relatively shallow, not too shallow, but modestly shallow at 99 feet. So that really cramps the ability to add on in the rear. This is kind of a little bit of a hardship on the lot depth. And then the house to the east, actually, I think I had a comment in there about that it's a similar, like there's, even though it's a side setback for the house to the east, it's a shallow, like a small side setback, which is like the same northerly context of the two houses. And so that one's similar or less than the proposed addition on the rear. So, and then my findings were as far as findings that I wrote out, the house has a non-conforming side setback, which dictates that any addition or replacement of existing massing would also have a non-conforming side setback. So, and we also felt that it was compatible with the neighborhood, given the overall context and proposal. Thanks.
Okay, thanks, Wes. So to the applicant and owners, would it be possible to build a practical or a functional addition here that does comply with the rear setbacks?
Not to do everything we want to do. As Drew was saying, we're putting it in the kind of the least desirable part of the yard of the property. Doesn't get much sunlight. If we split it over to the west, it's going to encroach into the view of the backyard and use of that backyard space where the terrace is going to be. So we've sited it optimally to take advantage of everything we can.
Got it. Okay. I don't
David?
think that, yeah, sure.
I have one more comment I want to highlight, and that's the fact that the applicant owns a parcel to the north that is a separate parcel, but if it were consolidated together, the way we do our averaging on the rear yard, you would average the two total depth numbers, and then the averaging would be approximately 50 feet for the setback, and it would be a conforming setback. I mean, obviously the two parcels are separate, so we couldn't do the averaging, but given that fact, that was another factor in our analysis. So, thanks.
Got it. Got it. Yeah, as I looked at the site plan there, I did notice that, but so that was not factored into the setback, but if it was the rear setback, but if it was, then this would be conforming.
Yes.
Okay. All right. And about how deep does that rectangular or square other lot behind there, how deep does that go?
Let's go to cages here real quick.
Yeah, it's 65 feet, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like 65 deep and 65 wide.
Okay.
You
All
can
right.
see on page 5 of the staff report, it shows the approximately like 2/3 of the addition in the rear would be directly facing the other parcel.
Got it. Okay. And the rear yard setback, is that calculated west from the terrace or just the addition?
Just the addition. So it's what, 21 feet to the proposed addition.
Got it. Okay. Anything from the applicants or owner, or I'm sorry, applicant or owners in closing or otherwise before we adjourn here today?
I would just say that if you look at the staff report on page 2, it really shows well what Wes was talking about, the neighbor to the east, how their house is about 10 feet away from the north property line, and how our addition is going to be 20 feet, away from that north property line.
Got it. Okay. I think we'll leave it at that then. I've had a chance to review the application materials and the staff report. And I think based on that, based on the testimony that I've heard here today, I'm going to approve the application. I need to formalize that approval in a written decision. I mentioned at the beginning that typically takes about 2 weeks. As soon as I finish that, I'll put it to a PDF and I'll email it to everybody who's in the hearing here today. So you all will have a copy of it really just moments after it's complete. Wes will be on that email as well. And as soon as he receives it, he can approve the zoning permit on his end. And hopefully you all can take the next steps.
Yeah, great. Thank you.
Thank you, David.
you.
Thank you, Wes. We appreciate
Sure.
it.
Thanks, Wes. Thanks, David.
If you have any questions in the meantime or want a status update on the decision, feel free to reach out to me directly. Otherwise, good luck with the project.